Welcome to the SoundTrack podcast. Hopefully, y'all are familiar with our other social medias and our content on those platforms. But today is the first time we got to record our first podcast episode that we'll be going on our YouTube. And today we're going to be talking about the 2010s Mount Rushmore of hip hop. And we're going to rank them in certain aspects. We have 5 aspects for y'all today, and we'll go through each of them. My name is Ollie, and to my right is
Aiden.
to my left,
Wyatt.
and man, let's just hop into this. So for preparation of the video, we came up with the aspects. We ranked these artists and gave some brief justifications. Might be some arguments over some of our individual placements. But where would y'all like to start?
Storytelling.
Storytelling. All right, so my ranking for these artists in storytelling, I got J. Cole at 1, I got Kendrick at 2, I got Drake at 3, and I got Kanye at 4. And really for J. Cole, I just think he's able to clearly convey messages and tell stories really like no one else. He may not tackle the most intricate stories like I think Kendrick Lamar does, but what makes Cole so special in the aspect of storytelling is you take a song like Wet Dreams, and it's very rare in hip hop that a hit song or a big song is a storytelling song, and that was something that J. Cole was able to do that I really haven't seen anyone else do to that level. And I just think throughout his catalog, there's various tracks that he does such a good job on that. That's kind of where I think he edges out Kendrick for me. Kendrick can be, sometimes when I listen to Kendrick's storytelling cuts, I find myself confused a lot of the times. And I think that's because, one, he can be overly ambitious in the messages that he wants to tackle, but sometimes it's not very precise. And I just think Cole does a more clear job. And then of course I got Drake and Kanye at the 3 and 4, because it's like when they do tackle content matter of substance, they normally don't compile it into a story as much as they just vent about it, or it's more like they're writing in a diary and stuff like that. Really for me.
Yeah. Aiden, you want to give some insight? Like, what do you got for me?
My list is actually the exact same as Ollie's. I agree. I think what separates Cole is his ability to not just make those very great storytelling songs, but how he's able to use it in a way that is so marketable, and he's really good at making those songs hit makers. I don't think Kendrick can do that part of storytelling the same, and I think that's what separates it from me.
I couldn't disagree more. Like, I have Kate at number 1, and I don't think it's even close between him and J. Cole. I think that Kendrick Lamar, out of the 4 people listed here, is very obviously the best storyteller. And I don't think that marketability really has anything to do with it, or approachability, because at least for me personally, when I'm hearing a story, I like to get like lost or entranced in the story, and Kendrick Lamar does a very good job of that. And he's very descriptive about it. And like Ollie was saying, like with his over ambitious messaging, I don't really find that in a lot of his storytelling cuts. Like there's not like an incredibly heavy theme on something like The Art of Peer Pressure that isn't felt throughout the rest of the songs on the whole album. And he's not using songs like that or Sing About Me or even like his verse on Mona Lisa to portray some bigger concepts. Like there's other pieces of work that are better for that. So I have him at my best storyteller, and I just don't think it's close. Like his songs like Sing About Me and Duckworth, and his verse on Mona Lisa and The Art of Peer Pressure, I mean, they're all like undoubtedly masterpieces, and honestly like works of storytelling that will be talked about in like colleges in the future and all this kind of stuff. So I mean, I'm just being real here.
I agree. Like I think The Art of Peer Pressure, I actually forgot to mention that in my little like excerpt of justification, but I think Art of Peer Pressure is one of his more digestible tracks that have a story to them. But I'm just thinking like, you know, there's obviously quality, and then there's more like, you know, kind of what Drake is just naturally good at, like, you know, the numbers and the quantity side. And I think just that element that J. Cole, like you take a song, I really think The Art of Peer Pressure is really, no, Sing About Me. Sing About Me is one of those songs, it's hard to digest that song. And that's normally how storytelling tracks are.
Yeah.
But then you take a track like Wet Dreams, you know, one's on a different level of maybe artistry and how intricately it's layered, but Wet Dreams is just like storytelling at its finest.
I agree.
It's just like you're taking a simple story that's so relatable, you're telling it perfectly, and you made a hit out of that joint? Like, that's really unheard of, honestly. I can't think of like a track that's like that big.
Yeah.
You know?
For Your Eyes Only is another good example of the exact same thing.
All I'm saying is,
But it's close.
Wet Dreams is not being considered like the best hip hop song of all time. But regardless of that,
I'm not taking Sing About Me.
Let's move on to our second category. In this category, we have versatility. Who we got? I got Drake personally.
We'll take that one. I got Drake on that one. I don't think that's a big.
I don't think it's close.
I got Drake at 1. I got Kanye at 2. I got Cole at 3, and I got Kendrick at 4.
My only difference is I have Cole and Kendrick switched.
You got Cole in the 4th spot.
Yeah.
I've got Drake, Ye, Kendrick, and Cole in that
Y'all
area.
got the same ones.
Yeah, I don't see how Cole has more versatility than Kendrick.
I don't either.
I think it honestly, as a purely like rap artist perspective, I think it's a toss up between Ye and Drake. But when you consider like all the like works of media that these people have made, like Drake is going into so many different genres that Ye just hasn't explored. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
there's no need for me to sit here and like really give y'all my thoughts on Drake being the most versatile artist in hip hop, because it's just true. And y'all even agree. You know, the genres that he's tapped into and he's done well. And I would even go to say that he's tackled almost every subgenre of rap there is, and he's done it well, in my opinion. He's done it at least being commercially successful. The thing with Kanye is that if we think about on a production level and the way like his albums sound, not just his rapping, he might be the most versatile and creative. Because I mean, Yeezus came out, it was like, wow, I've never heard that production before.
Exactly.
808s came out, wow, I've never heard that production before. So it's like he was versatile in the sense that he was versatile and he was creative. He was the one that pioneered that. But I had to put everything into perspective when making this list. I paired Cole and Kendrick together. I know I had Cole at 3, K-Dot at 4, but they could go either way. My biggest thing with them is that like they're both great artists, and they showed some versatility and some growth when they went for Damn being more trap, and when Cole went for was it KOD?
Yeah.
Being more trap. KOD was a little bit of a miss. Damn is a spectacular album. But then again, I kind of sit back and I think, would I want either of these guys to tackle like an R&B album? Absolutely not for me. Like, that's where like, all right, Drake's done it and Drake could do it well. But I would definitely not want to sit back and listen to like an hour-long record of Kendrick trying to do anything else really besides anything he showed us so far.
I disagree. I think that's true for Cole, but I think Kendrick has such a wider musical ability than, in my opinion, Drake and Cole. I mean, Kanye is debatable, especially when you add the production element. But I think there's so many lanes that Kendrick can and just hasn't got into yet. I could definitely see him being higher on this list.
But not outside of rap. Kendrick's not going to make a successful R&B album.
I don't know. You saw some R&B.
He doesn't have the singing capability. He hasn't showed us that he can dip into that bag. We could easily get an album straight passion fruits from Drake. It would be different. Like it would be great. But I mean, we all agree that Drake was at the top.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
We were just fiddling around with Kendrick and Cole, and I think those two are paired up. But whoever you take on top of that matchup is whoever you take on top of that matchup. So we'll just move on to the next one, and I'm just gonna let Aiden take that one, whatever one he wants to do.
I'll do influence. I have Drake, Ye, Cole, and Kendrick. I think Drake at the 1 is almost a no-brainer. I think this is the only part of rap that I'm comfortable talking about, specifically numbers, is influence. And I think that's such a big indicator of how your music is influencing different people. With Drake's different kinds of albums, I think that's almost bound to happen, that he's going to have the numbers and the influence. He's just so great, like Ollie said, at making hits. Like, it's just inevitable almost.
Yeah, I got Drake at 1. I got Kanye at 2. Another close one, and then I got Kendrick at 3 and Cole at 4. Did you have Cole at 3?
Yeah.
I think for Drake, it just goes. I mean, Drake is solidified in my 1. Yes, because of the numbers, but because of coming up at the time that it did, 2009, with like one of the most vulnerable. Like, he gives you the most vulnerable, introspective hip hop records there are. But at the time, I would say the project that has that crown is Take Care. But even at the time of when he came out with So Far Gone, that level of vulnerability from a rapper and the duality of, being hard, being someone maybe not to play with, but also being someone who is comfortable opening up about mental things and a lot about romance and women was unheard of. Drake pioneered a lot of the sing-rap fusion. And I also think Drake has influenced dancehall and Afrobeats because he works hard all the time with people that are deeply rooted in that community, people like Black Coffee, African DJ, and who is an African DJ, and people like Tim's. And I feel comfortable saying that Drake did a lot for popularizing that subgenre. By no means does he make the best music in that subgenre, but he used his status for something good to shine light on the smaller community at the time. Kanye's just always been ahead of the curve creatively, and even if you go to, like, I think there's an interview with Lil Uzi where he's like, 808s is my favorite album. Mm-hmm. Like, 808s has a lot more influence than people think. It has a lot of that vulnerability aspect too that Drake does so well.
Mm. And then his influence on production is...
Oh yeah, his influence on production is just as much as if not even more, just as much as his influence on rap.
Absolutely.
So that's very interesting. My rankings, I think I'm the only one who doesn't have Drake at 1. I actually have Kanye at 1. I think
That's not a bad pick.
I think that here's what I have. Like, Kanye really paved the way with 808s and Heartbreak, and he basically inspired an entire production movement of the utilization of 808s. And not only that, but with his debut album, The College Dropout, like, he really showed that you don't have to rap about certain topics to kind of make it in the rap game and be respected in the rap game. He was rapping about Jesus and stuff, and that's basically what the entire song is about. Like, oh, if I talk about Jesus, my song won't get played. But, like...
What song? Jesus Walks?
Jesus Walks, yeah. So he kind of, I think, pioneered the idea that anyone can make it as a rapper, and that definitely stemmed off and spawned a lot of people. And then, of course, the entire 808s movement just, still being prevalent today. So I have... Yeah. And I have him, and then I'm very interested. I always take it back to Aiden. I'm interested why you got Cole over Kendrick, because, like, I had Kendrick.
Well, who do you have at you? What's your favorite?
I'm at 2. I have Drake. Like, it's impossible to ignore Drake's effect on music. Like, he kind of set the stage for this global, like, here's what I got. He set the template for what would eventually be the global pop norm and opened up rap as being something more vulnerable. So. Yeah. I have that, and then I'm taking Kendrick over Cole because, like, Kendrick, like, he has actual, like, real life influence, like, not even in the music game, but, like, his music has inspired so many people. Like, his song "All Right" off T-Pep is literally one of the anthems for the Black Lives Matter movement. Like, yeah. So, and I struggle to find what major influence Cole has had that compares in any way to either of the 3.
I don't know. I was really close on this one. I think it's a toss-up, and I'm completely okay with him being your 3, and it's understandable. And you made a great point about all right, and I would probably change that and switch them. I think that's a great point and something that I didn't take into consideration.
Yeah, but there's an element to it of Kendrick being more impactful, like in a political position, and his music is speaking to people. But stylistically, I don't think there's people. I don't think like you could pinpoint a specific thing that is stylistically influeed by a Kendrick record.
There's not, but that's not what the prompt was. Though.
It's a level of influence. You could do that with Drake. You could do it with Kanye, and I think you'd have an easier time doing that with Cole. I think more rappers want to sound like Cole than they want to sound like Kendrick.
Okay, I don't think Cole has had much influence at all in the music world. But
I don't know. 2014 Force of Drive is huge, and I think one part of it is kind of what Ollie was.
The whole record, Dreamville, the whole tapes. I mean, that's big.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but that's not all Cole.
It's not all Cole's doing, but is it Cole the founder? Or
Yeah,
he's a founder.
but Ollie talked about how sometimes his messages can be lost, and I think the simplicity of what Cole is saying, it makes it easier for less devoted rap fans to listen to, and I think that's really important for influence. I think, like you said, I'm changing my list. I think All Right, like you said, being such a staple of the black movement in rap, I think that almost outweighs what Cole has done, but excluding that, I think it's extremely close.
It's
Okay.
it's extremely close.
Okay, so who wants to do the next category? I can do it if no one else wants to do it. I mean,
I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna go to I think which is gonna be the best one here. I got the technical rapping, aka delivery, and I'm gonna start off with my list, just my simple list. I got Drake at 1. I got J. Cole at 2. I got Kendrick at 3. I got Kanye at 4. Let me go through this justification before
I'd like to hear that.
before it gets a little out of hand. I personally have never heard a Drake song in which I'm like, I've done listening to it, I'm sitting back, I'm reflecting on it, and been like, wow, I wish there was another artist on that, or I wish he gave that beat up. I feel like Drake has the best delivery in all of hip hop, and this point piggybacks off of the versatility point. Because he's been so great at being so versatile, he can deliver just as well on like a UK drill beat and a trap beat, like a dark Atlanta trap beat on like What a Time to Be Alive. He can deliver on those just as well as he can deliver on something like Middle of the Ocean. And I think that's something that we haven't, maybe it's possible for Kendrick to do it, but Kendrick doesn't have the level of versatility to show that he can. And I also just think we don't give Drake enough credit. 6 p.m. in New York, Middle of the Ocean, I think his second verse on Wu-Tang Forever, he really can rap. Just because he sings a lot of the time, he really can rap like that. And then I got Cole at 2. I think Cole and Drake are really close in this aspect. I love Snow on the Bluff, and I think that
False
flow,
Prophet.
that flow on Snow on the Bluff is just one of those things that's just like the technicality is really there. And he's super clear. He's probably the best enunciator on this list. I really can hear what he's saying, even when he goes super fast. His breath control is insane too. Kendrick for me always pushes these awkward deliveries to try and be different, and most of the time they leave me unsatisfied. But I know that's a personal thing. He's still a great rapper technically, and then Kanye. I haven't been a fan of Kanye's rapping probably since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. You take a track like St. Pablo off T-Lock, that delivery is just terrible. I'm not a fan of that.
Okay. Here's my ranking. It's pretty different from yours. I'm taking Kendrick as my top here, and it goes Kendrick, Cole, Ye, and then Drake. And so here's my justification for Kendrick, and I'm just gonna list off a couple songs that I think would
I don't even know what music those listening to.
show his best like technical ability. First one got Rigor Mortis off of Section 80,
Okay.
and it's incredible the speed, and I mean talk about enunciation, like the amount of words he's able to get into like a verse, and it's so clearly pronounced over that beat that's just the horns looped, like it's incredible. And then all right, like that one part, like I can see the evil, like that part.
That's tough.
And then for Free, I think one of his most underrated verses, like this dick ain't free, and then it goes like he goes crazy on that. I think it's one of his most underrated verses, and it often gets overlooked because it's an interlude.
I remember you sent me that TikTok. Those TikToks where it's like someone on, like if Kendrick Lamar was on his own song, but they used like different audio with a different beat. And it was that audio on like some beat from like I don't even know, a whole different album or something.
But yeah, and then I got Cole at the 2. Like Cole, I completely agree with Ollie. I think here's what I have. I said he can switch speeds and delivery on a whim. Because and of course his enunciation is another thing. I think, part of that is his voice. Like he has one of the better voices in hip hop. And
J. Cole?
Yeah. I think he's very clearly able to communicate what he's saying, but kind of agree on that. 3 with
But
Ye.
Tell me why you got Kanye over Drake,
Bro, because Kanye, when you put out these prompts, you had technicality in parentheses delivery.
Yeah, I did.
And Kanye has some of the best delivery I've ever heard, bro. It's like, I forgot which song it was, but when he goes like, when he changed in the chain, and when he came in the game, he made his own, and he does that, and he plays with the beat, like, so much. And it, like on something like Jesus Walks, like the hustlers, killers, murderers, like all those kind of different flows that he has, and I think he's able to like do each one so well.
Yeah, but look at the time span that he did that. He did that for the College Trilogy. 808s he wasn't really trying to rap like that. No, it's a whole different type of album. So I'm gonna take that one out. And then My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, something like Devil in a New Dress. But like since then, like what rapping has Kanye done that's to the level of like, man, Drake rapped some of his best technical stuff on Certified Lover Boy. I mean,
okay, I can say the same thing.
Fair trade.
I can say the same thing about Kanye and T-Log, bro. Okay, you can't. Okay, on like Donda and Donda too. Like, of course, this guy,
Jesus is King, Donda,
whatever.
And I love that album, but he's
not
rapping.
All of those albums were not like rapping albums. They're not like technical rapping albums, really. You don't go into Donda expecting an incredible.
And that's fine, but if you've only showed a high level of technical rapping on 4 records, and then Drake's done it his whole career, like.
Okay, so then at that point it's just a choice. Like we know that he has that ability to rap technically, but also he just chooses not to because he's going in a different direction stylistically.
I don't know. We'll just.
Anyway,
what you got?
80s rankings.
I have Cole, Drake, Kendrick.
I like that list.
I think the 3 songs for me, Ollie mentioned one, Snow on the Bluff, False Prophet, and even Middle Child, as overrated as it is. All 3 deliveries in his ability that we've all talked on, his ability to enunciate at such a speed is incredible. I think the messaging is there, and the delivery is near perfect on all 3 tracks, and I think
on the new record he called a lie. I opened my book and I jot.
Even features, and that's one of my favorite features of all time. I think all of them are close. Like I don't think any list is necessarily wrong. I think I agree with Wyatt stylistically. Kanye is just going in a different direction. It's not lack of ability. It's lack of motivation to make those kind of records. And I don't think you can hold that against them.
But you have to naturally say he doesn't have a wide range of delivery if they're not versatile. That's something that, like, if you're calling Drake the most versatile, then you already got to give him a lot of points in this category for like delivering on those tracks. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to act like Drake should be under one because I know Kendrick is a great pick here, but it's just that Kanye over Drake. That
Sure.
I don't go too much.
Anyway, final category.
I'll let you run it.
Concept albums and who can create the best concept albums. And I'm just gonna say, like, there's only one right answer here.
Absolutely.
If you have anything other than Kendrick Lamar at your one spot,
It's
like,
the man, the myth, the legend who made Certified Lover Boy.
it's
T-Pap, bro. Come on.
I don't even
Good Kid,
tolerate
Mad
it.
City runs like a movie, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Cinematically.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, Kendrick has To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, and I know he's gonna get pissed off with this, but even his newest album, like
Absolutely.
Mr. Morale.
Mr. Mid and the Big Steppers.
Mr. Morale
Mr.
is
Morale and the
so
Big Steppers, like
So good.
he has a consistent theme through all his albums, and he's able to deliver it like so well, and it resonates across the entire track list. Like, there's not one track on any album that doesn't progress the theme. There's one on Damn.
And this is where his ability, or not his ability, but his ambition to tackle intricate themes and concepts help because
Exactly.
like he doesn't just make a concept album that's like conceptually like the same kind of idea, or like it's an offering that's like similar soundscape. It's like, wow, I'm gonna, like, as you progress through this track list, you're gonna hear a story being played out, and you're gonna experience this emotion, this emotion, this emotion.
I think
It's absolutely insane what
That's-
he's able to do with a whole project, not just tracks, but his whole project itself is insane.
I think that can sometimes be a blessing and a curse, because as great as he is at making concept albums that, like Ollie said, run like a movie, beautifully tell a story throughout the track list, he has a lot of songs that you go to individually that don't give you the full story, and they just the soundscape isn't quite right without the context of the entire album.
Sure. I mean, yeah, but like that's why he's such a great concept album artist. Well, I can see what you're saying. It's a blessing and a curse because a lot of his tracks don't work super well standalone.
That's
tracks.
that's not Kendrick's fault, man. We live now in a time of streaming where people can pick and choose what to add to your playlist. But if Kendrick was back in the time of like the 80s and like the 70s, in which like people back then, like, they really took music in its album as a whole, and that's what Kendrick is catering to.
And that's how it should be listened to.
It really it's how it should be listened to. Why it gets on me all the time for listening to an album and I'm jumping around tracks because I get bored. But with like with Certified Lover Boy, you can listen to the album backwards.
Yeah.
But that's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's because it has.
I understand it's a bad thing. I think Certified Lover Boy might be the worst like cohesive record there is. It's
awful.
terrible. Cohesively, it's a great album. But obviously, we all agree that K-Dot had the one. But my question is, who do we have at the 2? Who do we have at the 3? And the 4, I guess.
I don't know.
Kanye's at 4 for me.
No, I think it's for me. It's Kendrick, Kanye, Cole, and Drake.
Oh my god.
I think Kanye has. Okay, when you think of Kanye, you don't necessarily. The first thing you think of is not
Will
necessarily.
you repeat your list one more time?
Kendrick, Kanye, Cole, Drake.
Okay, mine's the exact same.
Yeah, so when you think of Kanye, the first thing that comes to mind is obviously not concept albums, but when you really like delve into it, he is portraying this theme throughout his albums. And I have a couple of examples here. So 808s and Heartbreak is obviously about something like heartbreak. MBDTF is about the negative consequences of fame. And then T-Lop is about the duality of a man being a man of God, and then a man also having a lot of sin within him. And I think that he's able to deliver it very well on all of these, and like there is a consistent theme if you really like go back and listen for it.
Yeah.
And then with Cole at my 3, like he has 2 concept albums, I think, and I think For Your Eyes Only is a great concept album. Obviously about that, like I forgot, like McMillan guy who died or whatever, and then him
his
like
best friend.
and him going to his own funeral and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then
I could actually take you down the track list with that album. How
That's-
beautifully the story is articulated, even if it falls short sometimes with the singing and the technical aspect. The storytelling is beautiful and it's amazing, and it's
got
one of
one
the
record.
best.
One record that he does that on. One record.
well, he has a concept album in KOD, but it wasn't.
It's not a
It
good
wasn't
concept.
very good. It was just like
I think he does a good job on For Your Eyes Only conceptually, but it's not really a good album, and I know we differ on that. And maybe we'll talk about that in future episodes. But bro, this Drake slander over here, this gotta stop. Drake at 4 is
I don't
crazy.
think he has a concept. Does he have a concept album?
No, I don't think it was the same. Views, bro. Views is probably the most creative concept album there is because it's not a concept album in terms of the songs and their content matter, but it's a concept album in the change of seasons in Toronto because you're starting in the winter, you're progressing to the summer, and then you fall back into the winter at the end of the track list. Like, what other artist has had that creative of a concept album? None. There's no. I mean, no other concept album.
How creative is it?
Dog, that's mad creative to be like, all right, like I'm gonna conceptually take you through sounds that are equivalent to seasons, and then have that like strike up your emotions over the concept matter.
I don't think Drake has a concept album.
Nothing Was the Same is a concept album. It flows through the whole track list of him dealing with newfound fame and fighting with the urges of wanting to be that kid in the basement again. And
I
wanting
think
to not be.
that's a better concept album than Views.
And I think it is too, but I'm shining light on Views because of how creative it is, bro. Like that's really, I don't know. To me, it's super unique.
I get lost in that track list.
Yeah,
I don't think it fits together
I don't think it
particularly
has
well
very-
as far as the soundscape.
Yeah, I agree too.
Yeah, of course the soundscape, because bro, the soundscape goes from the winter to the summer, but that's the whole point, dog. Of course, Keep the Family Close and Child's Play don't run like this on a soundscape because that's the whole point of it.
Okay, so are we arguing ability to deliver on a concept album or the concept of the album?
Yeah,
itself?
I'm the making of the concept albums
Okay.
and
Like the
the
creativity.
execution. But if you want a well executed concept album, Nothing Was the Same.
Okay.
Arguably one of the greatest rap records of all time.
Well, Kanye has 3.
What? Okay, Kanye's got and let's Take Care. Take Care is definitely. I mean, it's got an overarching theme to it. It's cohesive and it's y'all crazy. Not taking Take Care in that conversation. But all right.
Well,
I mean, but okay, concept album is tricky really to define. Let's be honest.
Yeah, because you have the overall, like, the product, which can be taken, like, as individual songs and how popular the album is. And then you have the creativity behind the album. It's just so many different facets. I can understand where you're coming from, but I don't think creatively on a concept album, Drake has matched up to any of the other 3.
I completely agree with that. But, I
The
mean,
only concept album I know of Kanye having is 808s.
okay.
I don't think My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy has a deep enough reoccurring theme, nor does T-Lop. Like, bruh, no.
Okay, I disagree personally.
I think he does a better job of creating like a theme in his production. Like Yeezus like is meant to be together. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't take one track out of Yeezus and put it in another album and be like that matches the soundscape. Maybe Bound 2.
Think about Bound 2
Bound
and then
2 got
Black
commercialized.
and then Black Skinhead. Like, tell me how those go together.
I said, okay, take Bound 2 out of that track list. The production style is very, it's meant to be on this track list, and this track list owns it. But, man, whatever, man.
Well,
It's
I guess we'll have to disagree.
It's cool as long as we all know Drake over here, the king of some of these aspects. But
sure. Okay, a lot of disagreement here. Nick, if you could go up and stop the recording there, but everybody, first good episode, and
Thank you.
yeah, everyone,
Okay.
thank you all for tuning in for sure.